Hey, welcome to the wrong way to build an engine quickly in just a few days. Stick it in a car and drive it 200 miles. Got camshaft, crank, timing gears, it's all done. It's the next night. Got home just a little while ago. I had to go make some runs. Had to pick out paint, and I had to get some gasket sets. I'm still waiting on my spring keepers from Comp Cams. They'll be in tomorrow, but I've got everything else to finish the heads. So that's just like that. Clean them up, oil them, put them together. Take me half an hour to put both those heads together. As far as pistons go, I'm going through each one by one. And these here, I'll get up on you. What I'm doing, okay? Look at me, I'm right here. Right here. Each one of these, I'm taking an old piston ring. You go through and you scrape through all the grooves, make sure you get all the gunk and really nasty shit out of there, like that right there. And it also helps if there's any burrs or anything, it cleans them out. And then I've also got a little brush. I've also got this little brush. I got two of them. They're basically for a drill, but it's what they had. It's your engine brushes. You can get them O'Reilly's, AutoZone, wherever. I just run it through that groove, and then I take this bigger one. It's brass, okay, so it ain't hurting nothing. And you just go through the grooves real good, spray down, brake clean the whole rod. And you also take your brush. If the motor's older, take your brush and run through this. I did the same thing to the cam journals before I put the bearings in, because there's some stuff build up underneath them old bearings. Just get it nice and smooth surface. Make sure this is all clean through here, and you ain't got any crap on your studs. And then what I like to do, especially if we're reusing old pistons, is I'll take WD-40 and I'll just squirt a little bit down in each side of the piston pin here. Make sure it's good and clean, and then do that, and then you can see it rolls pretty good. There's no, these were like hard to, I cleaned them out. They were bad. So I'm just going to do one at a time, clean them up, stick it in. Now you got to remember, on a Ford, most of you guys have seen this one, know this. They don't like a Chevy where it's 1, 2, 3, opposite and odd and even on each side. Ford is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So whenever you're looking at your rods, they're stamped. Ford stamped theirs from the factory. They always have. So, 1 would be here. This would be 5. Okay. So don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's 1 through 4, 5 through 8. So it'll be on this side. I'll put 1 in, then I'll put 5, then 2, then 6, and 3, and 7, 4, and 8. It's crossways. And I got these cylinders pretty well cleaned up. You can still feel a little bit of that ridge in there, but it's like 3/8 of an inch these pistons come from the top. It's wild, but they're down far enough it ain't gonna bother us at all. And then I'm gonna clean each cylinder with its own rag, because if there's crap in this one and this one ain't got it, all you're doing is spreading it. So just do that. And then what I like to do is I'll take a rag, its own rag, I'll spray it down with WD-40, get it in there and wipe her also, she's slick. And then I use WD-40 on my pistons. You can put a little oil on there, it's fine, but WD-40 works too. And once you get them all in, if you want, I've done it before too, is once I got them all in, then I'll come back through and I'll put a little bit of oil in each cylinder and wipe it around. That way it's got something other than just WD-40. But really, because we're going to prime this engine right here on the stand, it's easy on a Ford. It's so easy that anybody can do it. Literally a 5/16, I think, socket. You don't have to have special tools. So, all right, let me get to it. After I burn the table. Oh yeah, you didn't see me do this. Don't follow me. I'm an idiot. All right. All right. just for fun, I'm gonna show you how I put piston rings on, okay? Just for fun. So first, I don't know if I can do this on camera, but first you drink. So take my word for it. Anywho, did I say that? I did. Whatever. You got 3 different sections. Whenever you order your rings, they come in a box. These are standard. That's what my machinist told me. It'll be fine. So then they come with instructions and a nice box. These are engine techs. They're, okay, I guess. I don't even know. Are they made in America? Yes, they are. I'll be damned. They're cheap. eBay Motors, man. So, got everything laid out on the table over here. I'd show you, but whatever. Take my word for it. They're over here. You got 3 sections. You got your oil rings. You're basically your protectant ring, your second ring, and your top ring, your compression. You got compression, secondary, and your oilers, your oil ring. Anyway, I'm tired. So, first one you're going to want to put on, and this is how I do it. You take basically your 3rd groove oiler here. Now I've got this all cleaned up, and that's WD-40 on there, so ain't no big deal. This one, you can just run on. Be nice to it, don't just throw it. I've done this a couple different ways. Each piston's been different for me. But then you got your 2 little hold rings here. These are usually the ones that'll stick on you. There's 2 on this 3rd groove. They'll stick on you, and you'll get oil through. Yeah. So anywho, again with that, I'm gonna put this one on the bottom groove somewhere. Just pick a spot. Just don't put it in the same line as where your oiler ring, this thing here. Just make sure you don't put it in the same spot that it comes together, okay? They turn, they're gonna move, but I don't even remember where it is now. See, that's how good I am here. Oh, right there. Okay, we got the bottom one on. Just like that. See how nice that moves in there after I cleaned it out? That's what you want. They weren't doing that before. They were stuck. So I got those 2. Now the end of this one is right here. So let's take this one and put it somewhere else. Like, we'll just go quarter out. I don't know. And these don't matter usually on which side's up or down. They're pretty easy going. It's hard for me to do with my glasses on this close. There we go. It all turns. It's all nice and neat. It spins. Now, your second groove, or some people call them different things. I actually call them basically an oil ring, but it's basically extra protection for compression is basically what they're for. Now these, depending on your application, okay? Depending on the application. Some of them don't have this on them. This one does. This is the second ring. It tells you right on the package. Usually when you get your rings, they're spread out just fine. And I did get regular standard 4-inch bore rings. There's nothing you need to do. I will check the clearance, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to bore this thing. And I know I got everything good. We don't have time for that. It says right there, it says top. Sometimes they'll have a little circle or a dot, something like that, okay? Do not just take your piston, stick this in there and run it around. Don't do that. I learned that shit the hard way. Don't do that. If this little tool costs you about $10, if you're gonna build a bunch of engines, trust me, it's worth it. You just put that ring right in there. It will grab it and spread it for you. that doesn't damage, you know, got the possibility, because these will shatter pretty quick. So the second one says top. This goes right like that, right in that groove and down. See how easy that was? Look at that room. Okay. So we got that one. Woo! How much room we got there? Oh yeah. This is perfect. These are good rings. Now these you really got to pay attention only for startup, because when the piston goes up and down, they turn. They turn in the cylinder. So they can be right next to each other at some point, and it doesn't matter. But at startup, I prefer to have them opposite side, or 3/4, or or a quarter or something. Just, I don't want them right next to each other when they're on first start. I want them to eventually get there, because you're basically resurfacing the inside of that cylinder with your piston rings. So there's two. Now, like I said, some pistons have the dot, top, whatever to mark. These do not. These do not even have a taper on them. You know, sometimes you get real professional rings, they don't have that dot. They got a taper, and that's usually what you go by. These don't even have that. They're straight on. So there's half there. So let's just put, say, this one here, and we'll take this one, and we'll just put it on the other side. And right now, it really don't matter. I mean, because you can turn them once they're on the piston. See how nice and easy that goes on there? Just on there. That's it. That piston is ringed. That's it. And like I said, I use WD-40. Some people use oil. Some people use a special lubricant. Some people just, WD-40 is what my dad always used. All the engine builders that I was there, some of them would actually take the whole piston, dunk it down in a bucket of oil, and then throw it in there. Well, guess what? While you're working on the rest of the motor, you got all that oil. What's oil do? It collects dust and dirt and all that shit. And it can get water in it, and you wouldn't know it. You might not. Well, WD-40 literally is water displacement. I think 40 ingredients or something like that. I don't remember what the 40 means, but I know it's water displacement. So anyway, there you go. Now when it comes to the bearing, yep, I don't care. Get your bearing here. Do not assume that they're standard or the size. It says it right on the back of these. Right? Yeah, damn it. My glasses, man, I can't see. Yeah, it says right on there. Standard. STD. Not the bad kind. If you can fit standard bearings on your crank, you're doing good. So, take these damn things off. So anyway, first thing you want to do to these, get you a clean rag out of your dirty box. Like that, okay? This is what I do. Get them like that, and just be nice and gentle with them. Clean both sides, just like that. Nice and clean. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other ones since these two are gonna be mated anyway. I think, yeah, these don't have a, I'm gonna make sure some of these, yeah, we're good. Use this nice clean rag, another spot, clean it off. I use brake clean because it goes away. You know, use some things, man, you get stuck with it. It'll stay on there. Yep, nice and clean. And then I've already cleaned this surface here and there. You can still see the forward. That's wild. So then going with this in here. Now, Some people, they say, oh, you can touch the bearing surface. No. No touchy. So there's one. Get this other one. Oh, you know what? I forgot to clean this off. So let me get this a little bit. You can see where there's stuff gunk from underneath there. It's not a lot. Just make sure it's clean. Okay. Oh yeah. That's what I get. Wasn't paying attention because I'm in a damn hurry. All right. Very clean. Use one that's not all that important. You're good and clean. Make sure you don't leave any towel remnants in there either. Like I said, just let it sit for a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in here. Oh yeah. Ooh. It was close. That's what I get for sitting here and explaining things. You just get it done. And she's good. He's in there. Okay. I'm gonna turn that upside down. Now, rings are on, everything's on. I do have this cheapy. I need to clean it yet. Ring compressor. I've used this on. I use this on the Olds. I use this on all of them. I use this on the Chevy, the Olds, Pontiac, the Mustang. Yeah, all of them. And it's just a cheap piece of shit, but it works. I used to have the nice ones that, you know, a 4-inch bore. I had a one that was made for a Ford. I used to have all that, and somehow they disappeared. And no, they are not in my dirty garage. This was before I had this shop. And this garage is never this dirty. I'm too busy. So I need to clean this, and then we'll get to putting the pistons on.
Yeah. And that's where some of the rear suspension.
Listening to Pontiac Power Hours while I'm doing this. So, got my bearing in, got my ring compressor on. You can just set your size, tighten this down to where you want it, and then just pop it over. It's real easy. It's not the best thing to use, but it works, you know. I mean, it's like I said, I've had other things, and you can tighten this to be sure you get a good one. Piston has an arrow, points towards the front of the engine. Okay, I've already cleaned off the journal, set the crank so that the crank journal, basically where your piston's gonna, your rod's gonna sit on your crank, you want it the lowest possible position. That way you can reach your hand down there and grab it. You also want to put something, they make things, special things. I've always just used fuel line, you know. Keep them on these little tips. That way when they come down, they don't hit your crank. Old school, just use fuel line. Okay, you can use, what you call it, you can use, you know, anything you want. So, got my, said crank clean where this one's going. I'm doing each one by itself, okay? So then I got my grease that I always use, okay? CRC, and you just want to smear this on here, like so. Don't get it all over, just get it right on here. This is actually too much, but that's all right. Okay, get you clean your finger off. Then and they just got, like you said, they got progressively better every. So we got the piston in there. It is laying down here. I've got the rubbers on it. It ain't hurting anything right now. But you have this in here, arrow pointed forward. It gives you a perfect line. And you come down here, make sure you're in line for your crankshaft. And what I do is I'll get my hand on there and I'll pull on that on that rod with one of the studs, and then you just do that. You follow that down, everything right around that journal. I can feel it's coming. Got plenty of room. And there it goes, right onto the, yep, right on there. And that cylinder looks perfect. Okay. Then put your cap on the other side. You need me to show you that? But this thing is going in. Those rings went right in there. No problems whatsoever. I probably will wipe again and then I'll coat it again with WD-40. You know, you can do things cheap, and that ain't good. Let that hit the ground. I have to clean it again. But you know, I'm gonna re-clean all these surfaces. See how they're dirty? I'm gonna re-clean all that. It's not a big deal. Oh, you ain't allowed to see the paint color yet. I got a little bit on there, but that's not staying either. That'll come off. Oh no, it is staying on there. I'll be dang. Sweet. Well, that's cool. All right. I'm not changing the freeze plugs either because they're good. I'm not going to get into taking all that out. It's factory. They're not rusted. They look great. Like I said, this thing only had 64,000 miles on it. It was just the internals that looked like garbage. So, all right, let me get this cap on here and start knocking these babies out. If I get in a snag, I'll stop and let you know.
I had to take the roof panel out to fit in it.
Steppy wants to put a piston in, so okay, grab this 2 hands like this. One there, one there. Wait, let me watch that. It's got crap all over it.
Yeah, don't worry about that firewall. Just cut it out and send it.
Well, he's got a
There you go.
Dodge
Put it
Demon
on
down
top.
there, Dodge Star.
Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit it right there, nice and easy. Let me get my hands underneath.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking it's a
Okay.
Dodge Dart.
No, with the bottom.
Oh, he's
Like this.
just, your kid's just schooling about
Just
it.
right in the center.
Yeah, it's mid-ish. It's more
There you go.
towards the center,
Go.
I suppose.
Keep going. Keep going.
I'm actually
Harder.
very happy because both of my boys are in the car.
There it goes. Stop.
My daughter.
Okay, now go the rest of the way.
Hey, it's
Same
still
thing.
automotive.
Right. Well, she thinks her first car is going to be my Pontiac, so
All the way.
I don't want to break her heart.
It'll go all the way down.
No, I don't. I'm not driving my car to the No Name Nationals because I am going to break it at the No
Keep
Name
going.
Nationals, and I don't want to walk home.
Keep going.
At that point, it's just logistics. Just making the
One more.
Because you're
That's it.
participating
Right
in
there.
breaking it. You might as well haul it on the trailer.
Steppy installed number 5.
Right? Just figured that out real quick. We got it running and driving, and we drove it clear down to San Antonio, Texas.
All right, cylinder 1 and 5 are in.
Then over to Galveston, and then back to Kansas.
Good job.
I don't know.
Well, not bad. Started on it about, I don't know, 7:30, 7:45. She's together. Went together like a dream. No problems. That's all WD-40. I overuse it, and I don't mind. So she's all together. Rolls over. Sweet. So, as soon as my keepers come in, for those heads, I got the new springs and I got the new locks, but I'm waiting on the keepers. They were coming straight from Comp Cams, and they'll be here tomorrow. And yeah, they're a lot better springs. I'm glad I did that. The cam that I'm putting in this, those stock springs would have been valve flowed at like 3,000 RPMs, which is, yeah, I wasn't about to do that. That's just waste. I can't do it. Now, basically, we're going to have like a brand new motor. The only thing I did not replace, besides the crank, obviously, was the pistons and the rods. Other than that, talking stock form here, it's just fan-friggin-tastic. That's what it is. Got them in there just right, all face forward. Yeah. They all went in perfectly. They all lubed perfectly. They spin around nice and easy. The timing chain is perfect, you know. You can tell if you got them off a little bit. That timing chain will have too much give right off the bat. But I torqued them down. But when I flip it over and I'm going to put the oil pan on it and the oil pump, stuff like that, I'm going to retorque everything again. And I'll probably mark it. That way I know I torqued it, because again, it's budgeted old school filling station Ralphie with the head to toe covered in grease and a onesie rebuild. But he knew what he was doing. I guarantee that car would run another 100,000 miles, or 40,000 back then. It's because you'd run the hell out of them. The oil was garbage. But yeah. So I'll see you tomorrow night. Hello again. It's the next night. 11, 12-hour day. Sitting here listening to John Wilburn's live over here. It's on my pad. I think there's like 150. What is it? It's 155 hours for No Name Nationals gates open. And let me catch you up on where I'm at. Got all the pistons in. Everything's torqued. I retorqued everything again. Turned the motor over. Put my oil pump on. It's I usually use Melling. This is a sealed power, high volume, not high pressure, high volume, because these things have awful oiling, typical Ford. But I got this all switched over. Everything's good. Timing chain's on. I filled this full of Lucas. I didn't have any STP, and I ain't got time. Put Lucas in it, same thing. The only idea is to make sure those gears ain't dry. Then I plugged the hole right here so it don't, where your oil filter goes. That way it kind of holds it up in there. But as long as it's got oil in it or some kind of lubricant, I'm fine. Because I'm going to fill this thing full of oil on the stand and, make sure she's got oil all through the motor when I get it done. I did pick a paint out. It's pretty. At least that's what Amber says. Here's where the bad part comes in. I went ahead and ordered new springs, keepers, and locks. Springs came in, locks came in, keepers are supposed to be here today. They never showed up, never got a goddamn email, never got shit. So I called Jegs. Oh, well, those are back ordered until next Tuesday. Yeah, that poor guy. It got vicious. It did, because they told me they'd be here today. They got back ordered, but nobody thought about calling the customer, who told them on the phone that I need it this weekend or I'll find another place. So here I sit, Amazon to the rescue. I'll get my stuff on Sunday, but if I have to, I'll put the old stuff on it. Just to get it running. Should be doing that anyway. I should be using the old springs when I break in that cam, but I don't have that kind of time. So in the meantime, we'll get out, we'll get the other engine out, and I got a couple more things I need to do to Artemis. Amber's looking for cigarettes, and she couldn't wait. I'm kidding. So anyway, that's what's going on. Right now I'm cleaning the oil pan up. My battery land died on my scratcher, and I just got to clean the outside, and I'm going to get that on here, get it buttoned up. After I get the timing plate on, I'm going to make sure everything's good. I'm going to put grease on this and test fit, make sure everything is good to go, because I'm used to doing this in a few weeks, not in a couple days. So we're getting there, though. We're trying. I need a maid in here. Everybody says thrashing in the 11th hour. Well, it's more like the 11th hour with 59 minutes. I'll show you where I'm at. I haven't been recording much because I got to get this done. So here's where we're at. Okay. Timing cover on. That motor out there in Blanche didn't have the oil slinger. This one did, so I put it back on. It's in there. I could have showed it. I didn't. Now, the water pump actually bolts this to, a lot of the bolts bolt this to the block. So I just took these two to stay. The rest of these are all for the water pump to hold on. So I just took a couple bolts that I had besides that one. That one stays on itself. Put one in here, and I had a couple. Just put them in there, get that sucker tight against it, so when I get that water pump off that other motor tomorrow, just throw it on there. You know, just take the bolts out, done. Put this on there because my Lucas was leaking out of my oil pump, which is fine. Clean the pan up. It's ready to go. Got the pan on, extra light. The only time I put a lot of RTV is on these backs. I just put a light coat on there. Nothing should leak. It better not. I'll be pissed. Everything went in good. All the grease is where it needs to be. There's the pretty new color. Check, check, check. Okay. That shit's ready to paint. That's already washed it off. I'm gonna let that RTV dry for a second. And I want to show you something else real quick. So they recommend on these valve spring keepers, not the locks, the keepers, these right here, that if you have a dual keeper, don't use them. These aren't dual. I think we'll get our new spring here. Let me set that right there. You can look at it. There's my new spring, the extra coil. You clean these up, them look identical to the ones that I just ordered. So guess what? I'm putting these on, and I'll have them other ones here Sunday for just in case. I'll double check once the motor's been ran. If it don't act like it's doing anything wrong, these are hardened. Nothing wrong with them. So sorry about that light. Boy, I got lights everywhere just poking in your face. I'm cleaning these up and I'm using them. I'm gonna have these heads done tonight. I'm gonna have these heads on that motor tonight. That way tomorrow, the only thing I gotta do is pull a motor, intake. Let me think here. I'll pull the intake has to come off that. The fuel pump, no, because I got a new fuel pump because that one's junk. Got to bring it back. And water pump. That's it. I'm gonna pull that motor, swap those things over to this sumbitch while it's sitting on the stand. We're gonna drop that motor right back in there. I may have this thing put back together tomorrow night, and that leaves me Sunday to test and tune. I still got to put the damn sway bar links and shit on Artemis. That may be something I have to do down there, because you know I'm trailering it down there. We can drive it around down there without it. If I don't get to it, that's the way it's going to be. I may just have to do it down there in front of the camper. Never know. Anyway, it's like I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? Excuse me, what time is it? It's 10 o'clock. Oh. Yeah, I'm sick. But I'll get over it. It's just cold sinuses. I'm going to get this thing cleaned up. I'm going to get it painted now. I want that thing already having a coat on it, so before I go to bed, I'm going to spray another coat on it. This thing's going to shine like a diamond in a piece of shit gold Ranchero. Yeah, I'm stressed out. So, here we go. Yeah, by the time this is over, there's going to be nothing rest in my lungs, you know. But let's take a check. Look at that. Look at that. Zeppy said blue, so we went blue metallic. That's one can on that sucker, and I am going to let that dry like a sumbitch. And then I got another can. If I get the heads done, then whatever I got left is going to go all over this sumbitch, because it's going to be completely covered in paint. I'm tired of paint coming off. You know what I mean? Good. So, yeah. Pretty color. Almost went pink. Yeah, this is Blanche. Never mind. Zeppy wanted blue. It's his car. Anyway, time to get to work on the heads. Evening. About 11:30 at night on a Friday. Showed earlier I painted the motor. Thought I'd get to these heads because I figured out that the keepers would be just fine. I thought I had lockers. These are the ones right here that Jake sent me, and they are not for a Ford valve. That's great. They don't fit the valves. So guess what? That's right. We put the new springs on the old keepers and the old locks. I don't have time to wait for locks. These are something simple that I can change anytime. I'm not going to be running the goddamn thing 7,000 RPMs, 8,000, 9,000. Well, I might. But if she blows, she goes. I don't care at this point. I just need to get the thing done. Ford usually has some pretty good shit when it comes to their valve train. They always have. Never had any trouble with valve train. I did, however, change the spring. I need a different spring pressure. They're a little bit taller. The pressures are better for that. Now, if I was going to do this the right way, I would have started that son of a bitch on its original springs. A little bit easier on that cam. We ain't got that kind of time. I know. Stupid, right? And you'd be right. I actually agree with you. I cut a lot of corners. That ain't one of them. But this is what we're dealing with. But it's together. Those are the new comp springs. Those are the original keepers and the original locks. And they seem to be just fine, but they also don't have the motor pressure, rolling over on it. Whatever. So I'm going to get this other head up here and do it. That way I got them both done. I'll clean them up. I may just go ahead and stick them on the goddamn motor because I'm on a roll. I'm pissed off at Jegs. I'm pissed. This is the first time this has ever happened where they sent me the wrong parts. But I guess whatever. So anyway, next head. Heads are done. Motor's ready. Time to go to bed, wake up early in the morning and start thrashing. Get these, I'm letting everything dry up a little bit, and then I'm gonna get the heads on there early in the morning, get them tightened down, locked. I'm just gonna take the old, I'm not even gonna worry about torquing them. I got a couple more things to clean up. I'm out of brake clean. I go through a lot of brake clean around here whenever it comes to engine building because it's the only thing that really gets rid of water and dirt. And then I gotta move that rear end out there and pull old Blanche up closer, get the hood off her, get the engine stand or the engine hoist over there and start unhooking. Jack her up, get to town. Shouldn't take me very long. The only thing I'm worried about is exhaust. But I think I'll be able to, it's in pretty good shape in there. I think I might be able to just take the damn exhaust bolts out and leave the manifolds in there. And then I can drop this new engine down in there and just put the new gaskets on. That's what I'm hoping to do. Everything else is, like I said, it's 3 bolts for the alternator, 3 bolts to hold on the power steering, switch the intake and the valve covers. That's it. That's all there is. So I'll see you in the morning.